Joe, a very warm welcome to you and to the Nape YouTube site. And today you're going to talk to us about a new project, a very interesting project called Pandemic Heroes. And we're hoping today you can tell us a little more about it.
Great to meet you, Mike, and really good chance to talk to all your members.
Thank you very much indeed. Now, what is your role in this this project? What do you actually do?
Well, I should say I do a number of different jobs, but my main job, the one I love most, is a primary school teacher. I've always kept my teaching going, and I still teach for 2 days a week. I have a particular passion around the arts and creativity for young people, and this project partly came out of that.
Right. Yes, I can see that. Now, the project itself seems to revolve around um, being on the stage. Have I got that right?
To some extent, yes, Mike. It came from an observation I had over the last couple of years, and actually since the pandemic. When I was during the pandemic back in 2020, I'm sure we all remember those times. I was working in a leadership role, and we all observed the highs and the lows and the challenges and the opportunities in that
Yeah,
period.
yeah,
And then I noticed when in the media and more generally when people talk about that period and talk about young people and the effect that has been on young people, it was overwhelmingly negative. They talked about the issues that young people would have in terms of navigating the world,
yeah.
the learning loss, and everything else. And that's really true. We can't deny there's some real challenges there. But at the same time, when I talk to kids, particularly year five, year six kids who had some memories of this, and said, "What do you remember from that time?" There was all sorts of laughter, all sorts of really interesting stories that emerged. People saying, "I remember this. I remember the weirdness of home learning. I remember being in bubbles. I
Yeah,
remember
that's
all those
true.
other things." And they had some really funny, amusing stories to tell as well. And I felt that there was a moment when we should capture that as a piece of oral history. We should talk to as many young people as possible. And with the year group, we decided to work on a years 5 to 8, a deliberate kind of segment of that population. So primary and secondary now. We should talk to
Yes,
those
of course.
people. We should capture those memories, but then rather than just turn it into a kind of uh, a, a slightly static oral history project, we could then actually turn that into a performance that young people can do in their schools, in their youth theatres, to their parents, to their communities, to say, actually, this is what the pandemic is like. This is what it meant for us, and this is what we're like now.
Yes, and I can see that's important because, as you say, it's a slice of time. It's a time when everything was locked down and all the schools closed down and all the children worked at home, online, telephone calls, all of that was part of that. So was that the idea of the project?
Yeah, that's exactly you've hit the nail on there. That's exactly why we're doing it. Memories are fresh; they will be lost soon, and
Yeah,
I think those memories are valuable. We're not just gonna uh, we're creating resources which asks questions about the positives, about the amusing, but also to say, what was difficult, what would you wish government had done differently? We'll probably use slightly different language around that. How do you feel now as a result of the pandemic? It's not, we don't want to kind of unearth trauma in this, and there's
no,
clearly some
no,
negative stuff,
absolutely not.
but we want to get a much more rounded picture of children's experiences of the pandemic than things like the COVID inquiry is presenting. We want children to be able to perform their own work. It happens a lot in secondary, it happens far less in primary, and probably far less than it used to. I remember there
Very
was a far
true,
more of
very
it when
true.
I started primary teaching in the 90s. As soon as we've gathered those resources, we've then found this wonderful playwright to work with, Danusia Samal, who
Yes,
has worked with National Theatre, does lots of work with young people, also has some musical background as well. And we found a couple of musicians. And that playwright is going to get all the stuff we've gathered, plus other information from the internet. We will use information from the COVID inquiry and turn all of that into a 45-minute play that any school in the country can both adapt and perform. So, and then that play will be sent to any school that's been part of the memory gathering, and that
yes.
school can perform that play with music completely free without any license issues as well. We've got the funding to be able to do that.
Mm. Well,
So
that's really good news.
yeah,
I'm particularly interested by linking schools to the community as well, and sort of trying to record memories of adults within the community and their perspective of it in relation to children not going to school and so forth. Is that something that you're hoping that schools might also pick up on, a link to
it's
the community?
it is. You were a teacher. I'm still a teacher. We know how busy schools are. We know how crammed
Yeah,
the curriculum
absolutely.
is, and we're very, very aware of that. In an ideal world, a school would both do a lesson for their kids on this, and they would take something home. They would give the kids something to take home. So that imagine if every year six child or year five child just interviewed one person. What do you remember about the pandemic?
Exactly. That's
That
exactly
that
what I
would
was
be an
thinking.
incredible learning experience, but also incredible source of data, both for the general public, but also for the performance as well. We would love that to happen, but we want to make the the bar to schools participating as realistic as possible. So if schools want to do that, that's brilliant.
Yeah,
If they haven't got time to do it, that's also fine.
yeah, that's
Similarly,
great.
I should say schools are very if they want to perform this play in 2027 rather than 2026, that's
Yeah,
fine. Although this
yes,
will be the time for memory gathering because
yes.
everybody's forgetting, right? We need to capture these things now.
Yeah, we need to capture it now. You're absolutely right. Memories fade, and the important part of this and next year is to capture those memories now. And as you say, once they're captured, and perhaps a video is produced which can be shared with schools, that's great. That's absolutely great. Now I understand that the website which goes with this project is in a developmental stage. I completely understand that, and those watching will understand that because it is a new project and it's great. Could we sort of be given a sort of taste of what it's like and what it could become?
Yeah, totally. I mean, we're building the plane as it's beginning to fly, and I think any primary teacher knows what that feels like.
Absolutely.
If I just show you this. Yeah, so this is the beginnings of a website. I have to say this just started with a blog I wrote, and we had two individuals coming from that blog saying, "Yeah, we'll fund this, we'll make it happen." And from that, we've built it quite fast. So this is the website as it stands. It talks about what we are, what it's all about, all the things I've discussed, and also has this express interest button, which is the most important thing on it at the moment, because that
Yeah.
enables your school to participate. We've begun, it's a little bit more of information about why we're doing it
You remember
and
being
so
in
on.
reception
On the
at year
resources page at the
one.
moment, we've got two
Those
really interesting
first
things.
few
One
years
is a
at school.
film that hopefully anybody can watch,
In
which
what year
our
was
colleagues
it
put
again?
together, which
Yes.
will remind children about
Oh
what the
yeah,
pandemic was and what it was like, just in case.
2020.
We will beat the coronavirus, and we will beat it together. And therefore, I urge you, at this moment of national emergency, to stay at home, protect our NHS, and save lives. Thank you.
We'll also have lesson resources and home learning resources. And we've also got a really lovely little message from our playwright, Danusia, encouraging schools to take part.
Yes, I saw that. Good.
Hi, I'm Danusha and I'm a playwright. That means that I write stories that people perform on stage. I'm about to work on an exciting project called Pandemic Superheroes and I need your help. I would love to hear your stories about growing up during the pandemic. Your memories, good and bad, the adventures you had, the games you played, the lessons you learned, all the things that make you a pandemic superhero. These stories are going to help us write a play that will be performed by children across the whole country. But no pressure, you don't have to write something perfect or remember every single detail. This is your chance to see your experiences on stage turned into something magical. I can't wait to hear your stories. Bye.
So those are the most important things. And then this express an interest form that people can do, really, really simple bit of information. And then from that, you will be sent information. I think by the end of November, we should be able to give you all the resources you need. So, if you're on that Christmas period and you're stuck if you've got a spare hour or so, you don't know what to do with the kids, this is a great thing to do.
It is. Yes, I think that's a very good idea. Yes.
But we'll probably give schools till end of February half term to do this.
Yes. That's great. That's terrific. Thank you for that. That's a very, very, very helpful indeed. I mean, you've covered quite a lot about this project already. You've talked about the rationale, why it's actually happening, why it is so important to capture that slice of time. Is there anything else you want to tell the viewers? Because I think we're all enthused about it already. But is there anything else you wanted to tell us?
I would love feedback from primary teachers in particular to say whether what we're doing is workable and whether and how it makes sense. And if they've got any fears about it, I'd love to hear those as well. But I'd really just encourage primary teachers to take a chance, express an interest. It's all completely free. And hopefully the resources will do the project justice and your children and your communities will really love participating.
Well, Joe, that's great. Thank you very much indeed. We actually put the video link on Blue Sky as well, where you can put comments. So we might pick up comments from that. If we do, we'll pass them on to you. So, Joe, thank you very much indeed for discussing this Pandemic Heroes project. It sounds great. And it sounds to me as it's going to span not only next year, but the year after as well. So that's good. But remember, the deadline is the 14th of November. I'll put it underneath to remind you. And also the link to the website, which is gradually developing. So if you go back to that website middle of November, hopefully it'll be up and running and loads more resources will be on there. Is that right, Joe?
Yes, that would be great. And the 14th, it's a movable deadline. If you see this after the 14th, still please contact us, email us, express an interest, and we'll find ways to get you involved, no doubt.
Joe, thank you very much indeed, and bye for now.
Thanks very much.
Before you go, I've added a visual guideline for you of Pandemic Heroes timeline. Now remember, this project is aimed at those primary children who lived through the pandemic in 2020 and in 2021. So the project is appropriate for children who are now in years 5, 6, 7 or 8. The first stage in blue of this diagram outlines the start of the project, which, as you can read, is to gather all those memories. The use of the community to gain further perspectives of children staying at home is interesting. The second stage in red in spring 2026 is really for the pandemic project team to process all those memories that you've sent in order to write an encompassing script of all those memories. The final stage, pictured in green in the summer of 2026, is for the script and any other associated material to be sent back to you, the participating school or group, to perform at some point in 2026 or 2027. So good luck.